Hello and welcome back, disc golf fans, and happy 4th of July. We are here at the Preserve Championship here in Clearwater, Minnesota, hosted by Airborn Disc Golf. This coverage is presented by Prodigy Disc. We are at the 4th of 10 stops on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, back 9, second round action, and we've got Big Barry commentary. Myself, Jeremy Koling, joined by Paul Ulibarri.
That is right, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of birdies.
Well, that's a pretty good premonition. Look at this scorecard. Just James Conrad, after shooting the lights out 15 down, only 3 down the front 9, and he's dropped to a tie for 4th, 4 back of the leader. If you're not bringing tons of birdies, go ahead and forget about being on lead card action, because this is going to require, I'm going to say, you're going to need to go 7 down on the back 9 again. I mean, people are just shooting bonkers low scores right now.
I actually think that this tournament is going to have a record for the winner of most under par
For a
3-round
yeah.
tournament. At least the Pro Tour. For sure a Pro Tour, and I won't go anywhere else, because then we'll get somebody from like, well, in 1982.
Well, I like that stuff. Bring that information. Calvin here on the island, hole 10.
This is leaking. This is not going to be an easy putt.
And that's out left. Calvin with the awesome 8 down start on the front 9. Nikko going forehand.
Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That looks great. He said, come to me. Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Obviously a lot of confidence going with that shot selection.
Oh, no.
I mean, with a good kick, that could have easily drifted out to the right, gone OB. All OB shots would proceed to the drop zone. Good break there for Simon.
Yeah, he's got a makeable putt from there.
Mm-hmm. And no surprise, James going with putter.
He needs this. That is not good.
Oh, no.
He needs help.
Oh, wow. Just over the edge. That was inches from disaster. Just a little bit off right now. And maybe it... Well, we see Simon from 43 feet. Oh, unable to capitalize. But you're talking about the heat on the front 9, and maybe that could be coming into play right now with James. Trying to fan his hand, get it dry.
Fan his face, get it dry.
James missing right, just not quite connecting like he did in round 1.
Calvin hiding his face. Oh.
Oh. Off right side chain.
Whenever he misses now, I'm just like, what?
I know. But at the same time, when he makes it, I'm like, what? Because you didn't even see the basket for 99% of your routine.
That's true.
But Nikko's going to take a stroke on the card here. Widen that gap to 2 strokes over Calvin. Surprising to only see one birdie here.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, that's why I do like the par 3s on this course, the way that they're designed. You know, a little mistake costs you 1, but on this course, 1 stroke is like 3.
It really feels that way at times, and these par 4s are so gettable. I mean, aside from hole 5, the rest of the par 4s in the course are all well within range for a player who can throw 350 feet. You don't have to be doing what these guys are doing up at the 550 range.
Sure. Just like this hole, 667 feet. You can throw it as far as you can, and then you have, 200 feet into the green, which basically sometimes for these guys is it's taking putting completely out.
Yeah.
So they can basically throw it as far as they can with no accuracy. Well, with accuracy, but then not having to worry about a 27-footer.
Yeah.
And then you're chipping it in, for a tap-in.
And we saw Eagle throw the roller to circle 2 yesterday. Just absolutely blitzed it up the fairway. But Nikko right now, he is on this huge streak after the one slip up on the whole entire round was hole 3, but since then he has rattled off, what is that, 7 straight. And looking like it's going to be an easy 8 straight after a picture perfect drive. What do you think, Paul? Is that good?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's really far.
Yeah.
Like I said, now he just chips it up there, easiest birdie of all time, and it's just stress free.
Yeah.
To where if you think like the last hole, if that was a par 4 and then those are your shots going into the green, that's a stressful shot into the green.
And when you see that stress-free golf, that's when you see these streaks of 8, 10, 13 birdies that we've been seeing so far at this tournament. If you're not concerned, then that stress isn't sitting there heavy on your shoulder. You can really just rear back and rip it as hard as you can.
Yeah, shout out to Anthony Barella, who birdied the last, 11 holes, I believe, or no, 10 holes of the Silver Series at Goat Hill.
Yeah.
And then birdied,
The first 8.
First 8, which was a record for the Pro Tour.
And we mentioned that yesterday.
We did? Oh.
Yeah. But a shout out to all the people that skipped first round coverage. we mentioned it.
Yeah,
Anyways.
we did.
Simon with a great drive. Sorry we didn't talk about that. And James a little bit early, right? Having to go with the forehand, not something we see from him too often. And this is pulled all the way across the fairway. And James right now, he is bleeding.
Yes.
Nikko, another good forehand. Only 15 feet left. That's a tap-in. That will extend his streak to 8. Simon perhaps maybe thinking of ringing another one up after that huge par save on hole 8. If you skip that, you need to go back and watch the front 9. What are you doing here anyways? How did you get here?
Yeah. Go listen to us talk about Anthony.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
And Calvin with the zero effort, stress-free approach with that Rhino again, like you're talking about. Nikko taking his time. And we mentioned this a little bit last week, but I'm really loving how he's confidently switching between the spin putt and push putt. It's a difficult thing to do anytime in your career, but to be able to do it multiple times in the same round is just, it's amazing.
Great tool to utilize for sure.
And we got to give a shout out here to our favorite Canadian disc golfer, Thomas Gilbert, with the only 2 of the tournament so far on this hole. Throws it in from 102 feet. Big time eagle for Thomas. When I saw it too, I thought he might have putted. He throws a disc so far. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. But on to hole 12. Par 3, 296 feet. Just another low ceiling mid-range shot. Really nothing to it other than just keeping the disc at the edge of this fairway. Have it hyzer right before these branches right here. And skip up just short of the Mississippi River.
Perfect.
And that'll most likely be a 9th straight for Nikko. Do you think he starts thinking about a streak? Does that crawl into the mind of the player?
I don't think so. I think sometimes, yes, but when you're uncomfortable, yes. But when you're in a groove, and obviously you and myself have both been there as well, you're just kind of doing it, You're just out there doing it. And eventually, yes, you will be like, oh, wow, I just keep birdieing. When will this end? But you just keep birdieing.
At some point it's going to end, but I don't know. Nikko's throwing the disc so well, and Calvin catching a little bit of late limage, dropping him down short. I don't think he's going to have any problem with that putt, but Simon's going to be outside the circle.
It even ended for Anthony Barilla. Did I mention that?
What were you going to say? What do you do?
James Conrad, I feel like, is going to peer this.
It's time for James to get back in the action. That's an MD4. Thrown high, but not too high. Skipping right up there. That is one way to get yourself back into it.
Wow, I'm good.
This is a bit of a scary putt, and Simon does leave it a little bit short. A common miss from that distance. That hillside is so close behind the green, behind the basket. Calvin just creeping that over the rim, but he's in for another birdie in his last 9 holes. A lot of green on there.
God, I feel like Calvin got so good so fast. I don't think I've ever played with him in a tournament.
Yeah. He's been good for a while, but he just hasn't brought it on the road. He was at school at University of Florida, and now he's bringing that action to your living room.
With the FX, it fits a spot in between the F and the H. I wanted something that was torque resistant and it had a little bit of finish on the end. It's a very usable disc all around.
Hole 13, par 3, 360 feet. This is the location of Eagle's epic par save from round 1. Big forehand, maybe even a turnover putter from James Conrad, but most likely going to see a forehand from Simon, Calvin, and Nikko, the way he's been leaning on that forehand lately. Not much to it. Could potentially be, this ground is soft. I mean, it's hard enough, and the grass is short enough, there could even be a skip ace potential.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Simon's going to be throwing it back in. I heard that his elbow's been acting up lately, and so he's been really leaning on. Uh-oh.
And Nikko pushing this one out wider than he'd like, but that still is in the circle. Really overstable disc, fought well for him at the end. Oh. Went back and forth, ended up with the Heimburg Tour Series Star Destroyer. When in doubt, always go with a disc with your name on it. And this is also pushed wide. Not getting as much skip as Nikko. That'll be a difficult... Yeah. I'm not going to say difficult. That's just going to be another birdie putt for Calvin.
A difficult birdie putt. He's outside the circle, and that's difficult.
And James going MD4. And that's interesting. I believe he went with the putter in round 1 and went way past the basket. This time he goes with a faster disc, goes lower, drives it straight into the ground, and parks it. That was a beautiful throw. And like you said, Simon going with the backhand turnover. That's creeping into the circle.
It looks pretty easy. You're right.
It's going to go in. See?
Yeah.
It's too predictable at this point. What an interesting... Man, I don't think I've ever seen his putt from that range.
He looked like he yoded it right in there.
I was going to say E.T. phone home kind of moment there. He raised his fingers up.
Yodeling it with the...
Using the force.
Yeah. What the heck?
Wow.
Beautiful.
One of the most difficult putt for a player who loves the jump putt is right there just inside the circle. And that streak continues. Nikko finally put to the test there and makes good from 20. Well, actually, that's 32 feet.
Ooh, star frame?
I think that's safe to say.
Is Calvin Yoda?
I think he is.
And James is a pirate?
Still is, yeah. Yeah, that'd be a star frame. Another $25 from Jomez's pocket to a good cause. And on to hole 14, par 4, 730 feet. This is definitely one of the trickier par 4s. A really good hole right here. This is a little bit of a gutsy tee shot. If you want to bite off a lot of distance, it's going to make that approach so much easier. But when you start throwing big, the out of bounds left on the cart path comes in play. And also the turnover option into the tree line, which is very thickly wooded, is also another problem that can cause trouble for these players. Nikko wasting no time, showing that first round 15 under was not a fluke. He is off the scorching round again. I mean, just not slowing down.
Yeah, I love how he can switch in between that big power and then really slow it down with the same shot shape. The disc just lands so soft. Wow. This spotter's going to have to look out.
Yeah, wow, he really did. That spotter stands there for a reason, because he's not in danger of anyone else's drive. But Calvin makes him move because Calvin does big things. And James trusting that Anheuser. That needs to keep going right, and it does.
Uh-oh.
Just don't Heiser.
Heiser.
Oh, just crawls back out of bounds, but he does bite off quite a bit of distance. Shouldn't be too difficult of a par save for Conrad.
He's going to need a little help.
Needs to get stable. It gets a lot of help. Being on the edge of the fairway is such a good break. And I don't know if Simon knows or not. But if that kicks 3 feet into the woods there, I don't know if he has to look out. You think this hole's deuceable? Like if Calvin or Simon or Eagle wanted to try to go for it, you think they'd get something in putting range?
I do think so. The only reason I say that is because the old traditional golf green up there is so slick that once they hit that, it can slide up there for a makeable putt probably. Plus they make it from like millions of miles away. So.
Yeah, that's true too. Nikko with a good approach there, looking like that's going to be 10 straight. James, that's going to be a par save. I also think they could too, only because I think that they couldn't, and I've thought that they couldn't before about other things, and I was wrong about that. If you're with me.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
Anytime I doubt what these players can do, I find out immediately that I was wrong. Like we thought that the winners of this event were going to be somewhere in the 33 under par range at about 11 under a round. This is kind of what we were roughly predicting. And they might be at 30 under par after this round. Simon with that is just as scary of a putt as they had on hole 9. That is a steep slope behind the pin, making good from 30 feet. Simon is playing a great round. Just slightly being overshadowed by this fella right here. Nikko is zoned in. So is this guy right here, Calvin Heimburg, another birdie, going to 12 down for the round through 14 holes. Okay. That's good if you're into that kind of thing. I don't know. Hole 15, par 4, 703 feet, low ceiling right there off the tee box. slightly tight tunnel because these guys are going to want to throw far, but they don't really need to. The main thing for these guys is to get over this hill into the big, wide, open fairway and then leave themselves with an approach, probably a hyzer.
So Nikko just threw that soft flex shot on the last hole that landed nice and soft in inbounds. And now watch how he's going to power up on the same disc, same flight, but it's just going to go about, well, not same. He didn't really turn it over, but.
That still is mission accomplished. He's out open fairway. As long as you're hitting that gap, you're going to find success.
I guess my point is to down tempo on something like that and have the same flight is so hard.
Yeah, to be able to adjust back and forth like that seamlessly is definitely amazing. And I don't even think that, like, I think for a lot of people hitting that gap going full speed, certain control issues start to creep up into your mind. I don't even think that Calvin registers that that's even a gap. Like, he's concerned with other things. He's so consistent at throwing a driver that it doesn't. His accuracy actually increases, I think, the harder he throws.
Right. I think with this group, that is the case. That is a very big gap, and you really don't have to worry about them hitting early or something like that. Because I actually feel that about myself when I'm on this hole. I don't think it.
You don't think
it doesn't really register.
The gap doesn't exist. No. It's just open airspace.
Right. It's more of getting my shot shape through there down.
Conrad really leaning into this one. That'll be fine. Nikko not loving the approach.
He wasn't really happy about it, but he said he'll take it. And when you're putting as good as he is, that's the reason why the acceptance is so easy.
Oh, wow. Almost a 2 from Conrad. Only 5 down for the round. He's definitely losing pace right now with these guys at the top, but still with an opportunity to finish this round hot. It's Simon. I mean, goodness gracious. He's given us so many wonderful shots this round with the big skip into the cage on hole 5, the throw in on hole 8, and almost another one here.
He thought that was in.
That is so easy when you throw it that far. I would have never even thought to place a disc there and practice that approach because it's just 100 feet further than your average drive. Nikko to keep the streak alive. Man, he is on another level.
Have you noticed his right hand is just full of chalk? He said that when he was warming up today, he told me that he had gone to one of the sports stores and got one of those rock climbing chalk bags. And it's really, he said it's been a game changer for him in his putting. So maybe he latched onto something there, and maybe, you know, just that sometimes it's just little things here and there that can really switch your confidence, and all of a sudden you're going to see a lot of putts going.
Yeah, I find sometimes just having like a little quip or like a motto or something in your head that you're focusing on specifically, and not all the mechanics of the putt, but you're focused on a very tiny thing, and you put all your focus energy into that, sometimes you can be the best putting of your entire life.
For sure.
On to hole 16, just 3 holes to go. These guys are pushing course record numbers right now. Absolutely phenomenal golf. Now they have to contend with the par 3, 378-foot hole 16. This hill right here plays some tricks on the player. Do they play the hyzer and try to avoid spiking into this tree, or do they play hyzer around and perhaps take the putt back up at the pin?
I love this hole. I think it gives great opportunity for all kinds of different shots. I mean,
and it's
wide
a score
hyzer.
separator.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? It reminds me of a course that we all know and love, Järva, in Stockholm, Sweden. It just seems like something that would really fit in well there.
Yeah, to the naked eye, you would think, oh, this is just an easy hole. I just throw it up there. But then the basket is actually on the backside of the hill. It doesn't really look like that from the tee, first of all. Then you have two really nice guardians. You have the slope, which means any putt's going to make you a little nervous.
Calvin, he's up there 25 feet, but Nikko is going to have a circle 2 putt from one of the scarier places to run a putt on this green. Nikko may have got to a point where, I don't know, this is really going to test that streak.
You know, especially with it being at the point of the round where, like you said, the thoughts kind of creep in. Ooh, that is a bad roll.
That is unfortunate.
But the thoughts kind of creep into your mind of like, hey, I just got, how many did he get in a row? 11, 12 in a row?
I mean, he's got all birdies except for the one bogey in hole 3, and we are on hole 16. So he's got 14 birdies and a bogey.
Wow.
Incredible.
But yeah, I feel like this is the time where now he's thinking, wow, I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And that's when the putt becomes a lot more difficult.
And James almost connects on the pin cushion with the MD4. Goes long edge of the circle. He'll have a putt back up for the birdie. But first, Simon with this long run. And that's drifting left. He could potentially be at the edge of the circle. Nikko second guessing that first run. Oh, and that skips off the top. And the tops of these Prodigy baskets are flat, and sometimes you get a long straight skip off of these. No telling where that one landed. And James makes good with the comeback putt. That's a real safe, comfortable place to be on this green. But only when it's putting for birdie. When it's putting for par, it's a little bit scarier, but Simon is able to connect.
I'm curious to see how confident Nikko is going to be with this next stroke.
And Calvin able to walk through the door there as Nikko kind of opens a crack.
Especially with Calvin making this, I'm wondering. It's a short one, but
yeah, that wasn't that big of a skip off the top of the basket. Nikko definitely takes his time. That had a little bit of an interesting reaction off the chains, but he's in for the par. Just 2 to play as we're moving on to hole 17, the par 3 269-foot low ceiling tunnel. Kind of like the mini putt-putt version of hole 4 at Blue Ribbon Pines down the road in Minneapolis. Just nice tree line to go through the little field here, right before the pond up to an elevated pin. These are the fun little par 3s. Bunch of happy trees. It's Bob Ross. I mean, I don't know. He kind of looks like Bob Ross a little bit with the hair.
I got you. That's funny,
Okay.
yeah. Bunch of little happy trees.
And Calvin.
I was like, yeah, we get it. It's a good hole.
I mean, you have to explain the joke. It's not a joke.
It's hilarious. It's a really good shot. Let's see what James can do here.
That's a great throw. Just needs a slow down. Whoa. Man. Waiting for the call. Getting the thumbs up. James is happy. That'll be a longer putt than I'm sure he'd like to have on that elevated pin. Nikko going back to the Cenas. Pushing it wide, but that is no problem right there. That'll be another tap in for Nikko. putting on a show in this second round. Simon, super stable flex, complete trust. Hitting the pin. Look how close he pushes this to the right edge of the fairway. Another couple inches, and that is not a birdie, but that's how you draw it up.
So good.
Yeah, and there's James getting back into the action here. He's 5 down in the last 6 holes. Calvin in for the birdie. Looking like we're going to get another 25 bucks from Jomez as we approach the star frame. And Conrad, it's at 8 under par right now, and it just...
Yeah, it seems like he's just getting blown away.
Yeah, and that's not a bad... Yeah, he really is. That put into perspective with this group, they are absolutely killing this course.
All great par 5s have 3 things in common. An intimidating tee shot with a narrow landing zone. A tricky layup area that tempts the player into thinking, should I go for the green in 2? And finally, a fast green with a little bit of elevation that makes both options questionable. Coming in at 930 feet, hole 18 at the Preserve has all 3 boxes checked. Let's see how it plays out.
You called it in great par 5. Big eagle chance here for all of these guys. This is one of the holes that Cale was most proud of in his design.
And that layup area is actually not going to be utilized with these players.
It just is...
Only on their drive, I guess.
It just blows my mind that Calvin does not utilize the turnover on any shot, on any distance shot. He goes for the flip up flat, but that disc is never tilting right. It's just always hyzer. And he still is getting 600 feet on command with control.
Yes.
It's awesome. Different game than it was 4 years ago. And James with a great shot. That's in a good position for the eagle as well. Just happens to be 60 feet short of Calvin's.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Simon showcasing that power. He's close to Calvin. He threw it twice as high as Calvin.
It really doesn't matter where Simon is off the tee. I think that as long as he's inbounds, that green is in danger of a Spike Heiser second. Nikko going full rip here. This is looking great. Yeah, just skipping long, rolling up to edge of circle. He'll have that putt right there to skip past 16 under and go straight to 17 down for the round.
No, I think that'll be for a 16 under. If he makes that putt, that'll be 16. Otherwise, he'll shoot the 15 under.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He was at 15 under coming into this round.
Mm-hmm. Which is still mind-boggling.
The numbers are so low.
We need bigger numbers.
We need a calculator guy. I'm not a calculator guy. I like math, but this is too many numbers and birdies.
Wow, that looked like it went in the...
What was that?
That was... That was good.
Mm-hmm. Calvin's just going with like probably a Viper or something. Something crazy overstable. Who knows?
Oh, that looks perfect. Super Spy Kaiser.
Look at that roll forward. Are you kidding me? That is awesome. It was a good shot already, and then just how did he get that remote control thing to work at the end?
Now that will be for a 17 under, and it's just, we weren't even talking about Calvin scored that much.
Nikko was the one doing it all, and Calvin's got a putt for. Oh wow! And James. Okay, look at this. James is about to lose 7 strokes to Calvin, and you just shot a 10 down.
Yep.
Weird stuff going on out here, man. Oh.
Oh, right to left for Simon.
Oh my.
Lifted on him for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't believe the right to left.
It's subtle. It's hard to trust the wind out here when you got that negative wind sucking discs into the basket everywhere.
Right here, see pink.
17. Was that the quietest 17 under in the history of disc golf? What just happened?
It was like he was like 3 under, and then all of a sudden he shot 17 under.
He just shot perfect on the back 9, and actually shout out to our man. Get him onto the screen here. Jordan Castro going 10 down on the back 9, getting all birdies up until 18 and eagling the last hole. Fire emoji, Calvin Heimburg. You earned it, man. 17 under, tying Nikko for 30 under through 2 rounds. We're going to see something crazy tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be.
It's going to be crazy, though, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Talk about fireworks.